Resources need to be focused on helping people help themselves. One of the biggest challenges people have if they've been long-term unemployed is just building up their self-esteem and confidence, and I think a lot more investment needs to be done to help people to get that extra help and confidence to start seriously considering about being able to enter the job market.
Resources should be focused on those that can't afford to pay. I think in terms of the welfare reform, where it's trying to go, I can see where the government's thinking might be on that. Do I agree with the levels of the cuts and where it's being targeted? I'm not quite sure. I think there needs to be a real concentrated effort on those who are less privileged.
Increase the level of taxation and spend it accordingly where it's required on people.
There's probably an instinct to want to kind of push money towards quick fixes, but I don't think there are any quick fixes. We actually need to start thinking about more radical solutions, things like a universal basic income. Having that more kind of radical thinking, even if that's not the actual solution, is probably the way we need to go.
That's going to be challenging times ahead. In North Ayrshire we get universal credit in November, so I think the resources need to be channelled into local government.
As a quick response, I would say to concentrate on frontline staff. Budget cuts at local authority level don't perhaps allow that level of resource to be out there front facing on the client base.
I think that homes have to be at the very heart of our social security system. Getting a stable, safe and secure home around somebody can be the foundation that they need to address other problems in their life.
I think there's been some confusion caused because housing legislation belongs to the Scottish Government, but welfare reform belongs to the London Parliament, and there's all kinds of stuff coming out about, oh, we've got some more things in Scotland we can do. People are like, well, it won't happen any, it'll be fine.
Yeah. People genuinely need hand-holding because they don't understand, and we don't. You know, the reality is that we don't.
I think it's difficult for an awful lot of people working in housing, especially in Scotland, to really understand where some of the welfare reform agenda comes from. It doesn't sit well with me as an individual.
Resources should be focused on giving people a living wage. The welfare reform is just an utter disaster. They keep saying limited budgets. That is not true. The money is there, so why are they not using it?
Universal credit has already hit us in Fife. We're having to contact the tenants who's just made their claim, but they're not going to get money for 7 weeks. But these are things that has now been thought about by the DWP or the government. The ministers that put these things in place are actually, they're alright. They didn't have to actually see on the ground what we do. And it's horrendous, especially when you go in to housing where there's kids. In some instances I could put money in their gas meter to make sure they've got heat that night. Unfortunately, I don't know if the government will listen to these people's views.
Resources need to be distributed fairly, and I think at the moment within the welfare reforms there's a lack of fairness. There are some specific groups that I think need to be targeted for that fairness, because some are being disproportionately affected. In particular, I think young people.
I think it's a combination of learning from other people and learning from private sector. Things are done far more effectively in the private sector. I think we can learn from our colleagues in England as well. They are having to deal with so much more than we have to at the moment, and we have to remember how lucky we are at the moment, but let's learn from them.